How's it going? How's everybody doing? Essential Notes, back to talk fragrance with you guys again. And with 420 tomorrow, it only seemed appropriate to jump on and do a quick post about some of the fragrances I have in my collection. 3 that we'll be focusing on that kind of feature cannabis. And if you're looking to kind of add another scent with cannabis in it, here's 3 options that you might consider. One of them is going to be difficult to find. It's been discontinued, but you can always keep an eye out for it. So yeah, I'll jump in. So the first one is going to be the one that is difficult to find, and that is Aliz by Calaj, which Calaj is an indie niche house out of Romania. And the owner, Flavius Calaj, because it's after his last name. Anyways, had this that he released. It was like maybe one of his, I think it was his second line of fragrances. I think he had an initial wave of 4, and then this was like the following 4. I forget what the collection is called, but it was released in 2020. The perfumers on it are Ricardo Ramos and Jorge Lee. And I'll just go over the notes real quick, and then we'll get into what it smells like. But real quick, before we do that, I love the bottle. Each bottle back during this, actually even the early line, they all kind of had unique, there wasn't like a uniform bottle look. All the bottles kind of had their own kind of flavor. Anyway, this is such a cool bottle. It has meteorites falling, the name of the house, Calaj, which is Calaj, Aliz. It's a cool metal cap with like Calaj imprinted on the top, and almost like this gun textured, I don't know, this texture right here. This reminds me of something on a gun, and then it's kind of painted the metallic black, kind of give you the idea of stars, but it feels like a car with that little bit of that flake in the metallic flake in the paint. So the notes on this, the top notes are cannabis, verbena, wild berries, lichen. Then in the mid, you have vetiver, oakmoss, nutmeg, and neroli. And then in the base, you have mineral notes, labdanum, leather, and musk. Now, I was on a live when Calaj, when Flavius was talking about this line when it was coming out in 2020, and he mentioned that he had purchased or got his hands on meteorites that had actually fallen to the earth, and he had them crushed up and put into a tincture, and that is what the mineral notes are. That's why there's meteorites on the front of the label. So it's a very cool. If you're able to get a bottle, they don't, like I said, they're hard to find. They don't sell them anymore. They had stopped production on them, I think, for a period of time, and then I think they did one more run because I think they had a little bit of the ingredients left to do one more run. And I picked my bottle up with that second run. I jumped on it so fast because this was the one that sold out from the collection right away. But anyways, we'll kind of get into the scent of it. So the cannabis here really is, I would say it's not a heavy cannabis note at all. This is a very light fragrance. I find it very light and cool. I like to wear this in the summertime on extremely hot days because it does so well. The cannabis just really, it feels like it pushes these softer, more gentle ingredients forward. You get the wild berries and the verbena. So it's like this fresh thing. The nutmeg is just lightly just like a pinch of nutmeg. Then you have like the neroli coming in, so it has those, but it's a light neroli. It's not heavy. And then obviously it has leather, labdanum, and musk down below with some oak moss. The vetiver, it's just very light. There's a green element to it. And then you got that kind of that touch, fruity little touch from the wild berries and the lichen. Little bit of sweetness. It's not very overly sweet. It's really kind of like a personal scent, but it creates a nice bubble, but it doesn't project. Like people aren't gonna be smelling you out there and be like, oh, what is that? And it's not very loud. It's a pretty quiet scent. But if you're looking something that has a nice nuanced cannabis, use in it, I would definitely recommend you trying to get this. And it's a cool bottle. There's not many people with it, so if you're like a collector and you're into collecting just rare fragrances, this is one to keep your eye out for. So then we'll move on to, this is a brand, so this is only their travel size, a 20 ml, but this is Dee April. They're all kind of minimalistic, sleek, black casing. And yeah, so let me jump over to this one. So Dee April, I'll go ahead and give this a quick little spray here. This fragrance was launched in 2023. The nose behind this is Margaux Le Pas Guérin. I probably butchered that, it's a French name. But this scent is my favorite type of fragrance. So it's leathery, boozy, woody, smoky. And there's some tobacco in there, and there's also Guaiacwood and oud, both. So it has a lot of really potent, deeper, darker, it has a complexity. Then on top of that, there's really like this unique powdery undertone to it that is so unique. This is blended tremendously well. One of the best blended, like there's certain houses that I know, like I'm like, this guy always has excellent blending. Dee April is right up there with those type of houses that I always think put out some of the best blended fragrances. So top notes are cannabis, bergamot. That's all you got up top. Middle notes are nutmeg, orris, violet. And then your base notes, there's quite a lot of them, are leather, ambergris, oud, oakmoss, tobacco, labdanum, saffron, Guaiacwood, vetiver, sandalwood, and cedarwood. And this to me, like I said, it's one of my more kind of favorite style of fragrances. It doesn't give a boozy element here, but I feel like that maybe it's just because of the leather and the smoke and the woods and everything else, it feels like maybe there is something in there that's kind of boozy. Maybe it's just me. I thought that there was booze initially when I smelled it, and I just kind of keep saying that there is, even though when I read the notes, there's not. But I detect a faint booziness, and it's at the bottom of stuff. It's nothing that it leads with, but it's smoky in the background, and it smells to me like someone had sparked up, and you could, the scent of maybe the Mary Jane is on their shirt, and then they put on this brand new leather coat that kind of suffocates that a little bit. It kind of like, it's kind of holding it back. So you have this fresh leather that's kind of holding back this cannabis note. And so that cannabis note is not something that overtakes the fragrance at all, but you can detect it. Like it comes out from underneath the leather without a doubt. And there's, again, that smokiness, there's tobacco in there, there's beautiful woodiness, there's gentle spices, and there's an incense essence to it. Like I said, this very refined, powdery undertone. Excellent fragrance. And Dee April they're a house that's based out of Denmark. And they have 3 fragrances. I would highly recommend checking them out. And on to the third, which is Ajna. Now, this is from a brand that's out of Dubai called the House of 1984. They were easily my favorite house that I discovered in 2024. They had 2 fragrances. The first was called Monochrome. It also has a little bit of, they call it a Mary Jane, traces of Mary Jane in their fragrance. And then this is the same. So this has a little bit, I think they also in this call it, no, they have it straight up as cannabis. But if you're an oud lover and you really appreciate high-end ouds and well-composed oud forward fragrances, this you have to try. Even if you don't want cannabis in it, try this. Just the oud alone is worth getting your nose on. So this the perfumer on this, it was perfumed. The founder and creative director is Fazal Al-Dasori. So he had these concepts in mind, and he perfumed it alongside Shatha Al-Zabi, which if you know, she is the owner and perfumer for SJA Fragrances, and she puts out stellar oud fragrances herself. But this is a gem. Top notes. Well, hold on. Okay, the bottle's cool with the polka dots. Love it. Their packaging, their boxes are really dope too. So I just like the brand aesthetic altogether. But let's get a. Oh man, this stuff is good. Oh, okay, top notes: juniper, pink pepper, and freshly printed dollar bill. In the heart, you have cannabis, Tolu balsam, vintage jasmine, and a worn out dollar bill accord. And then in the base you have Australian sandalwood, Indian Mysore sandalwood, cedarwood, tobacco, and then here's where all your ouds come in. Oud Malino, Oud Morocco, Oud Burmese, and Oud Laos. Oud, this is straight up oud lovers alert. Phenomenal, gorgeous scent. You get that dollar bill note or accord, that dollar bill accord, you get that in the scent, which is super unique. The cannabis, you can sense the cannabis in this. This is not a cannabis forward scent. This is an oud fragrance, but the cannabis does this really beautiful thing within the composition, giving it a little bit of green, and it kind of melds or bridges into that oud, which is gorgeous. So yeah, if you're looking for 3 kind of new cannabis fragrances to put on your radar, there's 3 right there. If you're looking to add one of them, they hit 3 different things. One of them is really gentle, the first one I talked about. The second one is the most cannabis forward probably of the 3. And then the third is cannabis and oud kind of coming together to create art. Like, it's art. This is a gem right here. This is a gem. Like, if you're an oud lover, jump on it. So thanks for tuning in. If you could comment, like, subscribe, and share, it would be greatly appreciated. For everyone that's supported thus far, I really appreciate you guys. And until next time, peace.